What up, Space Cowboys? Gozen here for Anime Uproar, and today I have a new kind of video. I was looking for a format similar to this, and then I came across a Jello Apocalypse video, and I loved the format and decided I definitely wanted to give it a try using anime that I'm interested in, like My Hero Academia. I'll link Jello Apocalypse's channel below. Check it out if you want to see videos reviewing every Disney movie or every Studio Ghibli movie in 10 words or less. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to text to smash that subscribe button and ring that YouTube bell, Hunchback of Notre Dame style, for more My Hero Academia videos. Also, feel free to leave suggestions for future videos in the comments below. The rules are as follows. I will go through all of Class 1A and explain every student in 10 words or less. I will also let you know who my top 5 favorite characters are and who my top 5 least favorite characters are. Of course, these favorites will be beautifully subjective, so do not get triggered if I think your waifu is trash. These are my opinions at the moment, and they may well be subject to change as we get more information about the characters. I will also add some awards, kind of like Best Genus, for the members of Class 1A just for fun. Now, without further ado, let us jam. Despite his aching stomach, he bravely shines for all. Despite her acidic bodily fluids, she still makes Kirishima hard. You never thought frogs were hot? Well, now you do. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, but less blue and more boring. Do main heroines dream of green tea? This one does. Luke Skywalker with a tail, minus cool lightsaber and powers. One Punch Man plus Static Shock, minus the OP gene. Be as manly as Kamina, and as hard as a Metapod. Can command lions and sharks, afraid of ants and Metapods. A character who promotes childhood diabetes for all. 50% cool, 50% creepy, 100% Dojin material. Rocker waifu comes with built-in earphone jacks and speakers. What if Spider-Man got bitten by radioactive tape instead? If Batman fell into a chicken coop as a kid? I'm hot and I'm cold, I'm a lot like Zuko. Completely invisible, zero development, somehow still waifu material. I'm so fucking angry right now, and it's all fucking Deku's fault. Crybaby turned crying hero, he's gonna smash them all. The curious case of Master Roshi and his grape juice. When you see her, you know it's time for plot. Kakashi with 2 magic eyes and even less fucks given. And that is every Class 1A student and their teacher explained in 10 words or less. Now, I will go through my top 5 favorite Class 1A students and my top 5 least favorite students. Now, this is extremely hard because there are so many likable characters in this class, but I'm gonna take a crack at it anyways. My 5th favorite student is Bakugo. There's something I love about Bakugo. He's unapologetically an asshole almost all of the time. He stands out in a class that's well behaved and has good manners for the most part. With his cockiness and his complete disregard for societal expectations for how one should behave, he serves as a character foil for our protagonist, who tends to be less confident, more apologetic, but also nicer to those around him. Bakugo is explosive in every way. He stands out and he's never boring. Furthermore, because he can be so closed off, when he does form a friendship with Kirishima, it is all the more rewarding. He isn't a bad guy, really. That was proven when the League of Villains unsuccessfully tried to turn him into one of them. He's good at heart. He just speaks his mind and refuses to play nice. There is something very appealing about that, especially because that kind of behavior is so rare among his fellow students. My 4th favorite student is Momo. She really is the whole package. She has mad genius level intellect, an amazing quirk, all the money in the world, and yet she somehow avoids the trap of being stuck up. If anything, one of her main challenges is overcoming her own insecurities and feelings of unworthiness. To boot, she loves reading, which is probably my favorite pastime. It also doesn't hurt that she is one of the best examples of fan service done right in anime. Horikoshi came up with a clever reason for her to be close to naked all of the time. and so the fan service actually makes sense in the story. And if it still wasn't blatantly obvious, I am totally a fan of the service. It can't save a bad show, but it can be the perfect icing on top of a good show, and Momo makes for some quality icing. My third favorite student goes by many aliases, including Manly for All and Hard for All. He is the Metapod of MHA. He is Kirishima, a manly man overflowing with manliness. I recently made a video, 10 facts you didn't know about Kirishima, and in that video I explained that Kirishima's evolution is my favorite thing about him. And I don't mean his evolution into a Butterfree. Kirishima started out as a quiet kid who didn't stand out and froze in the face of danger. However, after being inspired by people like Mina and his favorite pro hero Crimson Riot, he decided that despite his unflashy quirk, plain looking appearance, and overwhelming fear, he would change himself and become a hero. I love that his favorite hero is Crimson Riot and not All Might, because it makes Kirishima more original. Since at some points it seems like All Might is everyone's favorite hero, so his backstory was very refreshing for that reason. Furthermore, the fact that he wasn't born like Mina and Deku, who act without thinking when others are in trouble, but had to consciously change and improve himself, also makes him one of the most inspirational characters in the show for me. He's a relatable character and truly a great role model. My second favorite character in the show, and best girl in my opinion, is Tsuyu. I said before that Momo was the complete package, but paradoxically, her perfection holds her back from being even more likable. Tsuyu is quirky. She's not what you'd expect from a conventional best girl, and that's what I really love about her character. I gotta say that I do not particularly like frogs. In fact, they always kind of grossed me out, so it's even more impressive that Horikoshi made a frog-like character that I like as much as I do. Her design is unique and awesome in my opinion. She's not the most talented person, including socially, but like Kirishima, she takes conscious steps to overcome her weaknesses and make friends. Whereas Momo had a rich, pampered upbringing, Tsuyu was taking care of her little siblings. Tsuyu's life was never easy, but she still remains a positive person. Plus, she's just like the cutest thing ever, and no one can deny this. Next, my number one favorite character is Sticky Balls for All, aka Mineta. Yes, the perverted purple man in diapers is my favorite character. I like a lot of quote-unquote perverted characters in anime like Sanji from One Piece and Jiraiya from Naruto. In the super PC age we live in, it's actually refreshing seeing a dude being so unashamedly attracted to girls. Yes, I know a lot of people hate Mineta, but that only makes me like him all the more. In truth, all dudes have an inner pervert, including Horikoshi. Mineta is just more open about it than some. So yes, I believe that Mineta is the perverted hero we all deserve. Now, if that wasn't controversial enough, next I'm going to tread even more dangerous territory. I'm going to share my top 5 least favorite characters. Before picking up your pitchforks, remember that this is just my subjective opinion. If I happen to list one of your favorite characters, feel free to tell me why you personally like them in the comments, and keep in mind that I don't hate these characters, I just prefer the others in the class more. Now, may God help us as I begin my trek across mine-filled territory. My 5th least favorite character is the class president himself, Ida. I think his costume is pretty cool, and so is his quirk, but as a character, he is kind of boring for me compared to the others in the class. He seems like a stand-up responsible guy who follows the rules. To be fair, this was complicated a bit during the Stain arc, when Ida chose to break the rules and go after Stain to avenge his brother, and when Ida followed the others to go save Bakugo, which is why he isn't lower down on this list. But he seems to quickly revert back to his normal self after these few rule-breaking instances. Even with the Bakugo incident, he did not want anyone to go and only came along so he could get everyone out of there if there was serious trouble. I much preferred Kirishima's response. For him, there was no question that he was gonna try to save his friend. The rules be damned. In short, I think Ida's a great guy, but that doesn't translate to an enjoyable character for me. My 4th least favorite character is Zero. Zero hasn't been fleshed out too much. He's an extra, as Bakugo would say, who is constantly smiling his slightly unsettling smile. Besides being a reference to Spider-Man and having similar powers, which is pretty cool, Zero doesn't really stand out to me in any significant way. I'm not crazy about his character design, and we don't know him well enough for me to care much about him at this point. My third least favorite character is Koda. Now again, we have a guy with a quirk that I like. Being able to control animals has such badass potential, and Koda could one day grow into a great hero and interesting character. But he has a ways to go. It doesn't help that the setting of the story doesn't usually offer a wide selection of cool animals for Koda to utilize. Nor does it help that Koda would die from a heart attack if he ever watched Shino wreck the Sound Ninja in early Naruto. He's a shy dude who doesn't stand out and hasn't gotten a lot of screen time so far. But if he actually turned out to be the UA traitor, I might just have to reevaluate my opinion of him. My second least favorite character is Sato. Diabetes for all is the musclehead of Class 1A. Besides not being a great role model for kids, his cognitive function goes down when he's fighting, meaning we probably can't expect to see any interesting strategic fights from him in the future. And my least favorite character at the moment is Ojiro, the man with a tail. Like I said, he's a reference to Luke Skywalker, and hopefully that doesn't foreshadow All For One cutting off his tail. But that reference doesn't make me like him anymore, especially since I'm not personally a huge fan of Star Wars to begin with. His design stands out less than that of the previously mentioned characters, and he doesn't even provide some of the comedic potential that Sato does. It also doesn't help that the most significant thing he's done is get brainwashed. And that is it, guys. Like I said, these opinions could change as we get more information about Class 1A, but those are my thoughts at this time. Tell me who your favorite and least favorite characters are in the comments below and why. If you guys enjoy this type of video and want to see more of them in the future, definitely Texas smash that like button and type Gozen Unleashed in the comments. Also, subscribe for more MHA content and use the quirk of your choice to ring that magic bell. Again, this was the first time I made this kind of video, so I would really appreciate your feedback down below. Until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.